We forgot to post last week.
Yeah.
It was Memorial Day weekend, and I had been looking forward to my long weekend for about 2 months. And when I got it, I didn't do anything. So I'm so sorry, you guys. But I will be your host this week.
Your ghost host.
What? Okay. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Magic Kingdom today. I'm actually excited because we're going to talk about one of my favorite parks, which is Epcot. I love Epcot.
Our favorite part is the Worlds.
Yes,
The World
and
Showcase.
we will get to that. But the thing I love about Epcot is that it offers a lot of entertainment, not just for kids, but this is definitely the park for parents and adults. It's so fun. If you have little ones, they may not find this park as exciting as you as an adult, but trust me when I say you need to go to Epcot. It's one of my favorite places.
There are things that they can do, but it's mainly for the parents. Like, there's still people characters you can meet.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least one ride, or maybe two.
Oh, there's lots. There's lots of rides for kids, but we'll get into it. Let's just start at the beginning. In Epcot, you have two sections of Epcot. You've got Future World, and then you've got the World Showcase. When you first walk into Epcot, the first thing you're going to see is that big golf ball, which people are always like, what the heck is that? It's actually a ride.
It's a ride.
It's called Spaceship Earth. And I love this ride. It's definitely a good ride for all ages. Again, on this vlog, if I mention a ride and I don't say any height requirements or restrictions specifically, that means it's for all ages, all heights, all ages. So, Spaceship Earth is basically a journey through the Earth's history. I don't want to give too much away. I want you guys to experience, but it's a great ride for a hot day. It's all inside. It's nice and cool. It's interactive, so it's a lot of fun, but it's very relaxing. It's not like you have to think too much when you're on it. It's one of my favorite rides, and it just kind of narrates us through where society began to where we're going, and so it's a really, really cool ride. I suggest getting pictures in front of the big ball, and then of course you get to ride the ride and go inside the big ball. So love it. The first part of Epcot you're going to encounter is Future World. On most occasions, always check your schedules when you travel, but in most occasions, Future World is going to open up before the World Showcase opens up. Usually the World Showcase opens up about an hour after Future World. So just keep an eye on that when you go.
Food places are late opens.
Yeah.
They don't do a lot of breakfasts there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of breakfasts in Epcot. There's a couple of exceptions to that, but I would really plan on having your lunches and dinners at Epcot, not your breakfasts.
Especially our favorite place.
We'll get there. I mainly wanted to do this about fast passes and how to utilize your fast passes at Epcot. Magic Kingdom does not have a tier system for fast passes. All the other parks do. What I mean by that is there are specific rides that are considered tier 1, which means they're usually the most popular, the most in demand. And if you pick a fast pass for that tier, that means all your other fast passes have to fall under tier 2. So, for example, tier 1 fast pass rides in Epcot are Soarin', Frozen Ever After, Test Track, and Illuminations. That means if you have little ones that really want to ride the Frozen ride, and you get your fast pass for Frozen Ever After, you can't get a fast pass to Soarin', Test Track, or Illuminations on the same day.
You can't preset.
Or you can't preset them. They might be available later, but as far as pre-selecting in advance, if you pick one ride off tier 1, That's the only one you get from Tier 1. Your other 2 pre-selected Fast Passes have to come from Tier 2. Just FYI, Illuminations is a night show. It's kind of like their fireworks. It's out on the big middle of the big World Showcase lake, and it's really, really cool, but it's a night show. So if you're hoping to pick up extra Fast Passes after you use your other ones,
It's not going to work that way.
you may not want to use it for a show.
But if that's the thing that you want to see at Epcot,
Then that's okay.
Then do it.
It's your trip. Plan it how you want. But I would say that for the most part right now, especially if you have little ones that love Frozen, especially little girls, Frozen Ever After right now is about a 150-minute wait. It's still very new.
Yeah.
It's still very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even ridden it yet because the wait is just so long. I will probably just eventually look in advance and get a Fast Pass for it and go. But I just haven't yet because I've been lazy about it. But it's basically just like a storybook type ride. It takes you through Arendelle, tells you the story of Frozen, and it's supposed to be really, really cool. The other Tier 1 Fast Passes, there's a ride called Soarin'.
Mm-hmm.
I love this ride.
It's a great ride.
I fell in love with this ride when we lived back in California. In California, it was called Soarin' Over California, even though it was the exact same ride at World. But they have updated it this past year, and now it's just called Soarin' Around the World is what it's called. Yeah. So they're not just in California anymore; they're all over the world. It is such a cool ride. You do have to be 40 inches to ride this ride.
Yep.
If you have little ones that are scared of heights, you may not want to do this ride if they're afraid of heights. You're basically in a seat that lifts off of the ground and puts you in front of kind of like a virtual reality type screen, but you are off the ground. So if you have a little one that's kind of scared of heights, I wouldn't recommend this ride. But this ride is so cool. It's basically in a dome, and you feel like you're there, like you're over the Golden Gate Bridge or something, and you feel like you're there. It's very, very cool, and they put in all kinds of sounds and smells that, like, if you're over the ocean, you can smell the salt water. It's a really cool ride. The other Tier 1 rides, like I said, there's Frozen Ever After, and then Test Track. Test Track, also part of Future World. You have to be 40 inches to ride this ride as well. It's kind of a cool ride. It's sponsored by Chevrolet, and you basically go in, and all out throughout the line, throughout the queue, you can do cool. There's all kinds of cool cars that Chevy has displayed that are either concepts for the future or concepts that are actually on the road now. And then when you get to the front of the queue, you get to design your own car.
Yep.
You get to decide what color, what kind of engine it has, how fast it is, all kinds of things. You get to basically design your own car.
Yep.
And everybody in your party gets to design a car, and then you get to go out on the test track and test its agility, its speed, its, if it's eco-friendly, whatever. And you just test it around the track, and at the end, you get to see how well your car did.
Yep.
It's a pretty cool ride. And then, like I said, the other Tier 1 is Illuminations, which is a nighttime show that's on the World Showcase Lake. If it were me personally picking a Fast Pass, just for me personally, I'd get one for Soarin'.
Because we love it.
Because we love it so much. But like I said, it's up to you.
It's your trip.
It's your trip. But the cool thing is that there's other things to use Fast Passes for. So once you've picked your Tier 1 Fast Pass, there are Tier 2 Fast Passes to choose from.
Yes.
And depending on how busy things are, I would use or not use some of these. Like Spaceship Earth, it's one of those rides that I call a people eater, where it's constantly moving. People are constantly getting on and constantly getting off. So it's just a big revolving door.
Kind of like Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, it's like Haunted Mansion. I don't ever get a Fast Pass for that ride because to me it's not worth it. Even if the line says it's 30 minutes long, it's probably not going to take you 30 minutes to get in. Mission Space. Mission Space is a, how do you say it? Like it's like a virtual reality experience on a spaceship. You have to be 44 inches tall to ride this ride. You're basically in a compartment with like 5 to 6 other people, and you're, depending on where you're sitting, you're given missions. And, you know, if you're the, I don't know any spaceship lingo, but like if you're the driver, or you're the captain, or you're this or you're that, you have different jobs. And so when they tell you to push the buttons in front of you, it's just like a simulation of a mission in space, which in lies the name Mission Space. So, but unlike any other ride at Epcot, there are 2 different experiences for this ride. I think there's a green and an orange experience.
Oh yeah, there's
green is less intense. It doesn't quite make you like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I guess orange, it's really simulating. Like, it feels like you're actually lifting off from a launch pad, and it's very intense. And then the green experience is just less intense. We've only ever done the green, mainly because that's what we could get a fast pass for. But we should try the orange eventually and see.
We should see the difference.
Yeah, and then there's also a fast pass for character meetings. One in particular is Character Spot. I love Character Spot because you get to meet 3 characters at once. You get to meet Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and Minnie Mouse. All together. All together there in the same spot. This is also in Future World. And then right across from them is a place where you can meet Baymax and then a couple of the characters from Inside Out. There aren't fast passes for those, but they're right across the way. Other characters you can meet in Epcot are Anna and Elsa. They're in the Norway Pavilion. There's not fast passes for those either, I don't think, but the line's not nearly as long as it was 3 years ago.
Right.
Let's see. Any other rides that are there, I wouldn't waste a fast pass on, if that makes sense. I would try to maybe meet the characters, maybe do Mission Space, and Soarin'. Anything else, I mean, honestly, is not going to have that long of a wait. They have a really cool ride for people who really just love to learn or are really interested in agriculture. It's called Live in the Land. Live in the Land is a really, really cool place. It actually is inside next to Soarin', and it basically just takes you on a journey through how food is grown, how we can be better about growing crops and things of that nature. It shows you even some of the things that they grow there for the park and for the restaurants in the park. It shows where they have fish and all. It's a really cool ride. I remember when I first read about it, I was like, it sounds kind of boring. It's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. There's all kinds of plants, and like the way they grow them, you're like, why didn't anybody think of that before? Like, why didn't I think of that before? It's really, really cool. They have a ride that's called the Sea with Nemo and Friends. I mean, and it's in Journey into Imagination. Those are rides that are kind of more kid type rides, very storytelling type rides, but they're fun. They're fun for everybody. They also have a cool thing that my friend Lacey and I did the last time we were there. It's called the Pixar Short Film Festival. And I don't know if this is always going on, but it was going on when we were there, and it's still going on right now. Basically, all those little shorts that you see before Pixar movies, you just go in and you get to watch them all back to back to back and kind of get some inside information on them and how the story came about and what it took to make them. I really like that one.
You would.
I do. But now we're getting to my favorite part of the park, which is the World Showcase. The World Showcase is my favorite
it's really
part
cool.
of Epcot.
Really cool.
And this is where it might get a little boring for children. Because this section of the park, there's not a lot of rides. There's a couple. The Frozen Ever After ride is in the World Showcase. It's in the Norway Pavilion. But before we go further, let me just tell you what the World Showcase is. The World Showcase, after you cross the little bridge that kind of divides Future World and the World Showcase, you'll see a big, like, lake-ish pond out in front of you, and it basically just makes a big circle. And in this circle are 12 let me look. 11 countries that you can visit. And they are Mexico, Canada, America, Norway, China, Germany, Italy, Japan, Morocco, France, and the United Kingdom. And when I tell you that Epcot is the best place to eat, I'm not lying.
No, it's true.
One thing that Walt Disney did that was absolutely amazing was that when he decided that he wanted to create this kind of, these little countries within this circle, everybody who works in the Mexican pavilion is from Mexico. Everyone who works in the France pavilion is from France, and so on and so on. The food is authentic. It's traditional. It is the best food you will have. Mm-hmm. It is so good. One thing I like to do when I go to Epcot is try something from a country that I haven't tried before. Not necessarily in a sit-down restaurant that might be more expensive, but even just like, when I go to the China Pavilion going to World of Tea. Try a different kind of tea that I may not have ever had before. It's the best food. Our favorite restaurant is in the Italian Pavilion. Mm-hmm. It's called Via Napoli. Mm-hmm. And they have pizza, and it's so good. Yes. They have other things too, but don't get it. Get the pizza.
You can get other things too, but the pizza is amazing.
Don't get other things. Get the pizza. Don't get other things. Don't listen to Aaron. Get the pizza.
It's your trip.
It's your trip. Do what you want, but
get the
pizza. Hypnotize. Get the pizza. Okay, moving on.
What's the pizza?
Yeah, I do. The pizza that we like the most is the Quattro Formaggi, which a lot of people are like, it's just a cheese pizza. It's the best cheese pizza you will ever eat.
Amazing.
Ever. I'm telling you. It's so good. But we could talk about food all day. Anyway, that's our suggestion for food. At the World Showcase. What I love about the World Showcase is that each country, when you walk into it, there's definitely things that you will know where you are. When you're in the Mexican Pavilion, first of all, Mexican Donald is there.
Yes.
It's my favorite Donald. Huh? Mexican Donald is there. I try to always get a picture with Mexican Donald when I'm there. But you'll start to smell all the different Mexican foods, and, they have just authentic merchandise and things of that nature. There's also a ride there that features the Three Caballeros. Donald again. Anyway, love that whole theming there, and then it's so weird. It's like you seamlessly go into the next one, which I think is Norway. I think.
don't remember.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, you go into, let's just say, for example, you go into Norway, and all of a sudden, this architecture and, all this. Changes. Yeah, it's great. There's also good eating there. There's a princess dining experience in Norway called Akershus. I can't say it. Akershus. Akershus Royal Table. It is in the Norway Pavilion. And it's a princess dining. So let's say you really wanted to get into Cinderella's Royal Table and you just couldn't. This is a good alternative. Aaron and I ate there the first time we went to Disney World in 2014. We were the only people in there with no children. But it was amazing. And the food was so good.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
I wish they served those dishes in that restaurant kind of at the little side places. But anyway. If you happen to go to Disney at Christmas time, Epcot is the best place. They do this thing called Christmas Around the World. This is just ingenious, and I absolutely love it. At Christmas time, they have things scheduled throughout the day in each country where a representative of Christmas for that country will come out and tell that country's traditions at Christmas time. Guys, it is so cool. I absolutely love it. It is so neat. Yeah. Like, you go into the German pavilion and whatever, like, folklore or kind of Santa Claus type character that Germany has will come out and tell all the German traditions of Christmas, and each country does that, and it is so cool. It's one of my favorite things that happens at the holiday time. But as far as shows or entertainment that happen, there's a lot that happens at Epcot that is seasonal. The Food and Wine Festival is every fall. If you're really into food and wine, this is the park for you. Even when it's not Food and Wine Festival. But at Food and Wine Festival, there's special things going on. And so maybe there's foods that aren't normally there and wines that aren't normally there. So it's a really, really good time. I think that usually starts around September and goes into like October, early November, maybe. I'm trying to remember, because I think when we were there in October the first time it was going on. So that's a really cool thing that happens at Epcot. A lot of things happen at Epcot at the holiday time. Another thing that happens at holiday time in Epcot is the candlelight processional. One thing that happens, like I said, is the candlelight processional. Usually they have celebrity guests starting from the beginning of November until the end of December. They'll have a celebrity guest that will usually be there for maybe two nights, and it rotates throughout the week. And basically they're just narrating the Christmas story, the nativity scene story from the book of Luke, and they have this huge choir behind them.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's very, very good. This last year when we went, Mr. Robbie Benson was the narrator, who I love. A lot of people are like, who's Robbie Benson? I'm like, Ice Castles, what? But he was also the voice of the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, the original animated version. Anyway, I kind of had a fangirl moment. I was like, there's Robbie Benson. Anyway, but they sing Christmas carols, and they like I said, they tell the nativity story. It's a really cool thing. There's also all kinds of, usually if there's an event going on, like choir competitions, band competitions, things like that, it's usually happening either in downtown Disney or Epcot, because Epcot has the stage for that. So a lot of entertainment, a lot of different...
One of our favorite things is in Epcot as well, in the American Pavilion.
Yeah. Epcot is where I geek out, guys. It kind of hits all of my fandoms to a degree. Like,
they have the Voices of Liberty. It's an a cappella group.
Yes.
And they have, how many is it? 10? 8?
Usually 8 to 10 singers. If you go into the American Pavilion, it's not hard to miss. It's in the very back of the World Showcase. And there's a huge dome, looks like a typical Capitol building.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in there and you sit on the floor under the dome, and all the singers come out, and they're usually in your typical American colonial outfits. And they basically sing Americana music, your Battle Hymn of the Republic type stuff. And
acapella.
And it's acapella, and so when you're under that dome, it's
So
just
amazing.
The acoustics are amazing. It's my absolute favorite show. I love Kate. She's my favorite. Hi, Kate. She is my favorite. I absolutely love her. If you don't know who that is, you will. If you watch enough of our videos in the future, you'll know who she is. I love them all, but she's kind of a favorite. But anyway, at Christmas, though, it's the same thing. They come out in their colonial garb and everything, but they sing Christmas carols, and of course, that's my absolute favorite.
What if they have a different name? What do they call them during that time? What is their name at that time?
They're still Voices of Liberty, but they might call themselves, like, I don't know, carolers of some type. I don't know. But it's the same concept, and it's really, really cool. And sometimes they'll hang out afterwards, so you can talk with them and take pictures with them. Not too long, because they have a schedule they have to keep, but they'll talk to you, and
they gotta have rest on their voices.
Yeah, they have to rest their voices. But like I said, Epcot doesn't have as many rides as, let's say, Magic Kingdom does, but it has a lot more experiences.
Yeah.
They have a lot more shows, a lot more like live entertainment. They have a lot of special events that go on throughout the year. So
Yeah.
we know we've rambled on a little bit, but Epcot is my favorite.
It's very cool.
I think I say that about every park, that it's my favorite, but when I talk about it, it's true at the time.
And, for you adults, children, you don't need to listen to this part. For you adults, you can always try to drink around the world.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. There's this whole thing, it's kind of this trend at Epcot that you drink around the world. You have all of the parks, with the exception of Magic Kingdom, serve alcohol. And there's pros and cons to that. It is pricey, which is one of the pros, I think, so that people don't lose their minds.
Right.
But, some people, they have their little passport, which you can get little fake passports and have them stamped. That's another cool thing. But some people want to drink around the world. So they want to go to Mexico and have a margarita, and then when they want to go to Norway and have a beer, and then they want to go to Canada and have beer,
Yeah.
and then they want to go to France and have wine, and it's just like, dude, I would be out the first round.
Or,
I'd be like,
there's some people who just have a beer in each country. Like the...
Mm-hmm. And then some people eat around the world. They try to
Yeah.
hit... But the thing is, they try to do it in one day. I just think that's a bad idea. With the food, you're going to throw up. With the drinking, you're going to throw up. At least I would. I can't speak for everyone, but I would. But yes, adults over 21 and over, there is alcohol in Epcot. Use your discretion.
Yes,
Use your best
please.
judgment. Anyway, that's kind of our quick overview of Epcot. In the episodes to come, we'll talk about Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. There is a lot going on at Animal Kingdom right now that I am going to experience soon. So I want to kind of hold off from telling you about it until I've actually experienced it. So we're going to get into all of the Pandora stuff, the new stuff, and the Rivers of Light. So I'm really excited to share that with you. But I think we have other stuff to share, though, about some episodes coming up. He's looking at me like he has no clue what I'm talking about. He probably doesn't. So you know that for the most part we talk about Disney World and we sing. That's basically what we do on this channel. We sing and we talk about Disney. But over the next few times that you see singing videos from us, we're going to have a guest with us.
Yes.
Who is going to play guitar for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll introduce him once we get some videos of him with us. But he's going to be playing guitar for us, and we're going to sing along with his amazing guitar ability.
Yes.
So look forward to that. That is coming soon. Again, we're so sorry we didn't post last week, but keep looking. And if you have any questions about Epcot or any of the other parks, just leave them in the comments. You can message us on Facebook. You can message us on YouTube. Or Twitter. We have a Twitter account. All of our handles and everything are going to be in the description.
Yeah.
So just hit us up.
Any questions about Disney? Ask us in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Any song requests or recommendations? And put them down there in the comments. Any recommendations for Florida things?
Yeah, because we've kind of gotten away from doing Florida things because we don't really know what to do. And the things that we know we want to do cost a little bit of money, so we have to save up before we do those.
So that's kind of,
So that's what we're waiting for. I know one thing that we're
coming
wanting to do is go to Kennedy Space Center and go to Clearwater. Those are the two that I think that we've decided that we're going to do first. And then eventually Universal. I have people asking about Universal all the time. I swear we'll get there.
Yeah, we will get there.
But that costs some money that we do not
expensive.
have. But just keep checking us out. Keep making suggestions. Share us with your friends, family, anyone who might be planning a trip to Disney or Florida in general. Or any musician friends you have that you want to hear us sing or whatever. Just share us.
Yeah.
So, we haven't done our send-off in a long time.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Chelsea.
And this was
A little bit of us.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.